What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Good, the Bad and the Stupid. It's Thursday the 9th of July. Hope you're well and had a great day. I say that all the time, but it just dawned on me that some people are actually listening to this podcast in different countries. That means some of you are actually listening to me with your breakfast first thing in the morning. Why you would do that, I don't know. I hope the kids aren't around when you're listening to me. But perhaps you'd just like to hear some nonsense, swearing, ranting, nonsense talk first thing in the morning. Sets you up for the day. You might think to yourself, well, if that's the worst the day can get, I'm going to have a spring in my step all day long. Or maybe you're missing a late partner or somebody who's left you who used to talk a load of shit first thing in the morning, and I'm filling that gap until somebody else comes along and talks shit to you. I don't mind. Whatever works, whatever floats your boat. Just make sure you tell other people, because and also don't forget that there's videos. Not that anybody wants to see my beautiful face. That's right, beautiful face. But it's on YouTube anyway, with lots of the video version of this, and there's mini videos on the same channel, but it's called GBS Clips, GBS News, Good, the Bad and the Stupid News. You'd have worked that one out, I'm sure. But anyway, it's all there. But anyway, just keep listening to me on your podcast. That's all right. I don't mind how you consume me. I was going to try and think of something rude to say then, but I couldn't think of anything. I wasn't quick enough then. I'm usually quick off the ball. What's it called? Johnny Depp is still in court, and I think it's like a game of tennis. Shit tennis. It's shit tennis. That's like, if you haven't seen Trailer Park Boys, Trailer Park, you Canadians out there know all about Trailer Park Boys, but fucking Jim Leahy, the alcoholic supervisor of the trailer park. He's fucking shitisms. The things that he talks about, the way that he says things, it's fucking hilarious. He says everything's like a shit fight, or you and your little shit turd friends and everything. Everything's, or shit hawks. The guy just cracks me up. But anyway, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are still having their game of shit turd tennis, over the back and forth with the accusations against each other. But I think it's gone against him in some of the ones today, because while he was trying to explain some, she was saying that he was ranting and raving on the plane, causing a scene, wrecked out of his brains and whatever else, and then he passed out in the toilet. He said she was having a go at him, and he eventually walked off, grabbed a pillow and went to lie down and slept in the toilet to get away from her. But then the court produced a phone record from his friend, his mate, Paul Bettany, another actor, and like where he's saying to Paul Bettany about like, I was on the plane, I was off my nut, and I was fucking hammered, and I was causing a scene and all that kind of stuff. So he literally they had the whole sort of transcript of what happened. It was what she said and not what he said, apart from the abuse. I mean, she was saying that he attacked him and everything, but there was other people on the plane, so maybe it doesn't actually show that. But my point was that it's all for, and there's another case. There was another thing about like where he's saying about he was calling her a witch, and like, you know, he would set her on fire and all this kind of stuff. That was in like a matey argument, a matey conversation to his mate, also Paul Bettany, text messages to him. So his fucking mate's throwing him under the bus by the sounds of it. How the fuck they got messages off one of his best mates' telephone describing the situation or whatever? Because they can't have access to other people's phones without their consent, can they? So it sounds like in the court he's had to apologise for the judge, saying, I guess that's what did happen. I do apologise. I remembered it a different way, so you'd have to excuse me. I got it wrong. So at least he had to admit it, but he's got to thought, fucking hell, that fucking arsehole's fucking threw me under the bus with that text. Because it still doesn't prove that he's a woman beater, which is the whole point of the court case. You know, he's in there for to defend his name against being called a wife beater. It just shows that he's fucking off his nut. And when you're off your head and you're in the air, if you're off your head, because he's in the text message he said, I didn't have no sleep, and then I had to grab everybody, ran to the plane, and then he was off his head drinking whiskey, bottles of wine and everything else, and drugs and whatnot. When you're in the air, if you've seen anybody pissed on the plane, they're a fucking nightmare, because it's a different they're in a different altitude and everything, so the drink takes on a whole different fucking ball game, and the turns are right fucking idiots. I can't even drink on the plane that much because it just I don't want to be them. I don't want to be that person that doesn't know where he is, pisses himself, fucking up and down the aisle, harassing people, pulling people's wigs off their head, you know, sticking your fingers in other people's food and whatever else, doing all that kind of shit. It's like, oh, fuck off. You just need to just rugby tackle them to the floor, then tie them up and put them in an airplane cupboard. They need to have like a jail cell on a plane. I think that's a good idea. That's my idea. EasyJet, Qantas, Ryanair and EasyJet won't have that. They're fucking too cheap. But all the other ones, anybody that puts a jail cell on a plane, it's my idea. Intellectual property rights. Coming to me, Wayne Lawrence, please. Checks made out to. Anyway, let's move on to something a little bit funnier than that even. Donald Trump's niece is bringing out a book where she describes him as a Frankenstein monster with a severe personality disorder in an explosive tell-all book. Oh, that's going to be fucking funny reading. I don't know what it's called. Is it going to be called Dr. Frankenstein? No, I doubt it. But she's bringing out a book. I don't know, is it all about him? Well, it's got to be. It's a tell-all book. But she's like slagging him right up. He must think, fucking hell, you're my niece. You arsehole. And she must be going to his son or daughter, whoever her mum and dad is, that you got to fucking have a word with her. What's she saying? But at the end of the day, it's probably true. Well, it is true. Everybody knows that. You can see it in fucking plain sight. He doesn't have a fucking clue that he's a narcissist. Not a fucking foggiest. But anyway, she's going to cast... she says Dr. Frankenstein was horrified by the monster he created, the president, and the president glories in its anger and its destruction. What? I think I've cross-wired that one. You get the point. I'm not going to read it. I should have read it before, but that's why this podcast isn't professional. I'm just riffing off the title. Anyway, is unprofessional, beg your pardon, if that's not what I said. But anyway, so she's bringing out that, and it's going to just throw more shit on him, isn't it? And he'll just go, well, she's obviously crazy. She was always crazy. He'll turn it on her. She was crazy from the day she was born. She always had. So he's going to have to slag off his niece. Oh, it's his niece, so it's his sister or brother's kid. Come on, Wayne, get it together. I forget where these kids come from, the different names. But anyway, and he described Madonna as one of the worst, ugliest and fattest slobs he's ever met. And all because she refused to date him. That's another excerpt from a book. Is that from the same book? It's from another book. So the books, everybody likes to dish dirt on him. So either he likes to date fat, ugly, the worst, ugliest fat slobs, or that's real sour grapes. And it must have been a long time ago. So how old was he at the time? Because Madonna was never that, was she, when she was younger? And she was fucking up for it with most people. She was like, fucking sexy and, so to turn him down, he must have thought, fucking hell, she's like, she likes to get around a bit, so maybe I'm fucking right in there. And she was like, fuck off, you're the fat, ugly, worst, ugliest person I've ever come across. Get your words out, Wayne. I'm trying to slag the Trumpster off. Yeah, so, and he still is, in fact. So, anyway, you can imagine him doing that as well, can't you? You can imagine him his pride was hurt, so he'd lash back. Can't wait to see what happens in this fucking race. Kanye West going up against him now, his old pal. He's going to start slagging him off next. I wonder if it would be racist. Probably not. Well, he's racist by fumbling accident, because he has got racist tendencies, hasn't he? Where he's got he's a nationalist, so it's accidentally racist. He's not meaning to be, probably, but to anybody else it is. Because he's like, fuck you, America first, America first. Now Mexico are trying to block people coming into America. Block Americans coming into Mexico to stop the COVID threat coming in. So, They're saying that the wall might be built by the Mexicans after all. Well, the time will tell, won't it? Because America's open for business. Penguins can propel their poo. Shit, I'm going to call it. But penguins can propel their shit an explosive 1.34 metres, a scientific study has revealed. Because we need to know that. It's very important how far penguins can throw their poo. Their waste can also fly up to 0.4 metres above ground, around head height for a penguin. So if you'd have to be crouching down to be caught unawares in the face by a penguin at the zoo with that case, so you're safe. There's a funny video that went around on Facebook a long time ago with there's a family looking at the chimps in a zoo, and they're in an enclosure, but the chimps are low down, and they're looking down on them from this like wall, and one of them with the family is in a wheelchair, this little old lady, and the chimp grabs a load of shit out of its arse and flings it up, and it hits the woman straight in the face and is hanging off her nose. It was like a dead bullseye shot. I mean, fucking funny as anything. I mean, it's a shame because it's a little old lady in a wheelchair, but it was funny as fuck. And check it out. That's going around on YouTube. Another video I found very funny on YouTube was a video of a rhino farting. Somebody's on a hippopotamus farting. Somebody's on a boat going down the river, one of them slow boats on a safari. And there's a rhino getting out of the water on the other side, and all of a sudden it starts farting, but his tail starts spinning around, and it has a load of shit coming out its backside. And it's one of the funniest things I've seen. I'm obviously very, very, very immature, but check it out. You might just laugh your head off. And there's another one, but I can't just keep telling you those. I'll tell you another one tomorrow. Anyway, builder's banter from 190 years ago has been found at a stately home. 3 Jacks have signed their name and written, this roof repaired March 1830 when it was cold and frosty. Jack Felding, Jack Vickers and Jack Ragg. They all liked drink, but none to be had. Is what they've wrote. I think people would write a lot worse things in today. People had a lot more respect in those days, or even their insults would come across as poetic. But today it'd be like, a bunch of arseholes live here. We don't want or there'd be like dick drawings on the wall. Saying that, dick drawings have been around since before the fucking Egyptians, haven't they? Like in the caves and everything, people would just draw dicks on the wall and everything. There'd be a stick man with a massive dick. That's my kind of drawing. My school books. That's pretty much was my signature essays. You know, signed with a dick, signed off with a dick at the bottom. That's why I didn't get very good grades. But anyway, that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I didn't get very good grades. I didn't make a lot of money. I've got no rich and famous friends, so I'm having to do this podcast to spread my what's the word? To prove to people I'm not just skint and sad. I'm actually very what's the word? I can't think of the word now. I am. Forget it. I am something. Anyway, let's just fucking move off that. I've talked myself into a cul-de-sac. I'm more than the what I look to people who walk past me in the street. Let's put it that way. You probably disagree, but then again, you're sitting having your cornflakes, listening to me. So who's the sad one? Not me. It is me, unfortunately. But because I'm not getting paid for it, and you're going off to work and getting paid a lot of money. A man left with a bloodied mouth after a vicious attack by a seagull that went for his cheese and onion sandwich. I'll tell you what, they're fucking getting really frisky now. That was almost like a French kiss of a seagull, and they've seen a seagull's beak. Right on the end, their tips, they're sharp. If that had gone in his fucking mouth, they'd have hooked his tongue. It'd have took off with him, or he'd ripped his tongue out his mouth. That's for sure. But that was almost in his fucking mouth, taking whatever you're chewing. They don't give a fuck. These seagulls, they don't care about hunting for food anymore, or hunting for fish, or however they used to get food. All they want. I walked past 2 the other day, literally flying. One was flying with a bin bag in his mouth. It was that strong. It was flying with the bin bag over to his other little seagull mates, and they all ripped it apart like lions rip apart a carcass. They were ripping apart this bin bag and pulling out fucking all the shit food that people have dumped in there. So fat, violent seagulls. That's what we've got. Right, last one I'm going to do. Boozed up daters. Boozed up daters. This is quite funny. Oh no, this is not the last one I'm going to do. Where's the last one I'm going to do? I'll do these two then. Boozed up daters say getting tipsy has led them to have beer goggle sex. That's all right. Well, that's the best thing. If you're going on a date and everything's going well and you're getting drunk and you're getting on, even if you don't find each other attractive, you can still feel horny. You can still fucking feel like, oh well, you know what, might as well get down or get. I mean, depends on where you got to go, because somebody's got to invite somebody back to somebody's house, isn't they? Unless you're doing it in the toilet, and that is a bit fucking. That's a bit Boris Becker. That is Boris Becker. His most expensive 15 minutes of his life, wasn't it, when he met a woman in a restaurant, took her in the broom cupboard, had sex with her, and he tried to deny it. But that child, 100%. You look at that child. It's mixed race. She, I think it's a she, but the mixed race anyway. The child is mixed race, but 100% you can tell it's Boris Becker's. There's no denying it. He could walk into court and try and deny it, and the judge would go, "Are you taking a piss? Have you seen that child's eyes? That's your face on a baby. That's 100%. I'm not even going to bother wasting any more court time. You're paying for it. That's it." And he's had to, and that's why he's skint. Anyway. So if you're going to have beer goggle sex on your first date, then at the very least have protective first sex, because that'd be a wound. All of a sudden you're tied to them forever through this child. You just resent the child, wouldn't you? You just go, you know what? You have cost me a lot of money, and it's only because I had 2 extra San Miguels. I wish I'd have just gone and had a coffee and said, did the old. My mate's waiting for me, or I've got to be somewhere, and then you wouldn't exist, you little shit, with your very expensive schooling. Why couldn't you go to comprehensive school like me and everybody else? Why did you have to go to private school? Because your mum's a fucking gold digger, that's why. Anyway. Moving on to the very last one. Scrabble fans have been pestered by pervy players using the site as a dating app. So people are using. You can't even. Can you see people on the Scrabble app? I know you can. You have avatars and everything, don't they? But some people are putting their chips up, or their little the squares on the Scrabble squares, and they're putting them up and saying things like "I fancy you," and other things. And what else have they put? Flirty messages they're putting. You've hardly had 3 goes before somebody's asking you whether you're married and have kids. So that's lazy date. That's lazy attempts at dating, that is, isn't it? You've got to really sort of try and put in the work to get away with fucking that on a Scrabble. You can do that on a dating app because everybody's there for the same thing. But on a Scrabble, you got to be fucking. You'd be one of those blokes, these blokes at the pub that just think they're the fucking God's gift to women, but they're the most ugliest person in there. But they will ask every single fucking woman in there for a date, and they'll get one at the end of the day. It's fucking numbers game for them, and they're just not put off by the negative reactions by people. They just think it's them. They must be crazy not to like you, and you're really shit smelling aftershave. But anyway, so now they're at home trying to put it on people on the Scrabble board. Well, there must be some really good words in it at the very least. Twerking, I would have thought, was quite a pricey word. You can get away with asking somebody if they fancy a twerk, or could give you a twerk. That's got to be a high scoring letter. Sexy has got to be a good score. I think X is about a 10. But else could you have? You'd have to create some fucking sex, a zigga zigga, like on fucking Spice Girls song, zigga zigga. I really, really want a zigga zigga. That's, for me, that means I really want a shag. That's what I'm thinking they're saying, but without upsetting the mums of the children who listen to that song, because they're the only ones who fucking found the song very good. I really, really want a zigga ziggar. What they're really saying is I really wanted to fucking get somebody to give me one tonight. Well, there you go. Get yourself on the Scrabble board, and you might just get a high score in word and get a zigga ziggar at the end of it after all. Right, I'm going to finish there. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll do another one tomorrow. See you later for now. Bye.